Welcome to a special series of the 5-Minute Biographies podcast, while we wait for Season 18 of the regular show to commence. During this series, we are taking a brief look at the lives of the first 10 presidents of the United States. This is Episode 6, John Quincy Adams. John Quincy Adams, the 6th President of the United States, was born on the 11th of July, 1767, in Braintree, Massachusetts, now part of Quincy. As the son of John Adams, the 2nd President, John Quincy Adams grew up in the midst of revolutionary America, deeply influenced by his father's involvement in the creation of the new nation. His life was marked by an extraordinary career in public service, both as a diplomat and as a politician. Though his presidency was controversial and limited to one term, his contributions to American foreign policy and his later advocacy against slavery left a lasting legacy. Adams was born into one of the most prominent families of the American Revolution. His father, John Adams, played a leading role in the fight for independence, while his mother, Abigail Adams, was a highly intelligent and influential figure in her own right. From a young age, John Quincy Adams was exposed to the political and intellectual currents of the time, absorbing the ideals of liberty, justice, and republicanism that would shape his life's work. Adams' early education was both rigorous and unconventional, as much of it took place while accompanying his father on diplomatic missions to Europe. In 1778, at the age of 10, Adams travelled with his father to France, where John Adams had been sent as a diplomat to secure French support for the American cause. The young Adams attended schools in Paris and the Netherlands, where he became fluent in French and Dutch, laying the foundation for his future as a diplomat. In 1780, Adams moved with his father to St. Petersburg, Russia, where he briefly served as a secretary to the U.S. envoy. His exposure to European politics and cultures during these formative years gave him a unique perspective on international affairs. By the time he returned to the United States in 1785, Adams was well versed in European languages, history, and diplomacy, setting him apart from many of his contemporaries. Upon returning to America, Adams enrolled at Harvard College in 1786, following in his father's footsteps. He excelled in his studies, particularly in law, and graduated in 1787. After completing his legal education, Adams was admitted to the Massachusetts bar in 1790 and began practicing law in Boston. However, his real passion lay in public service, and he soon embarked on a career in diplomacy and politics. Adams' first major diplomatic appointment came in 1794, when President George Washington appointed him U.S. Minister to the Netherlands. His success in this role led to further appointments, including as Minister to Prussia from 1797 to 1801. His diplomatic career flourished under both Federalist and Democratic Republican administrations, thanks to his ability to remain largely non-partisan and his dedication to advancing American interests abroad. In 1809, President James Madison appointed Adams as Minister to Russia, a significant post given the geopolitical importance of Europe at the time. During his tenure, Adams strengthened U.S.-Russian relations and later played a key role in negotiating the Treaty of Ghent, which ended the War of 1812 between the United States and Britain. This achievement cemented his reputation as one of America's most capable diplomats. Adams' success as a diplomat led to his appointment as Secretary of State under President James Monroe in 1817. As Secretary of State, Adams played a pivotal role in shaping U.S. foreign policy during a period of expansion and consolidation. He was instrumental in negotiating the Adams-Onis Treaty of 1819, which secured Florida for the United States and established a clear boundary between U.S. and Spanish territories in North America. Adams also helped craft the Monroe Doctrine in 1823, which declared that any European intervention in the Western Hemisphere would be viewed as a threat to U.S. interests. This doctrine became a cornerstone of American foreign policy for decades to come. In 1824, Adams ran for president in a highly contested election. Although he did not win a majority of the electoral vote, the election was decided by the House of Representatives, which chose Adams over his main rival, Andrew Jackson, in what became known as the corrupt bargain. The election was controversial, and Jackson's supporters accused Adams of striking a deal with Henry Clay, who had supported Adams in the House and was subsequently appointed Secretary of State. This accusation tarnished Adams's presidency from the outset, making it difficult for him to enact his ambitious domestic agenda. As president, Adams sought to promote national development through a program of internal improvements, including the construction of roads, canals, and other infrastructure projects. He believed that a strong federal government could help unite the nation and foster economic growth. However, his proposals were met with resistance from opponents who favored states' rights and limited government. The political climate of the time, combined with lingering resentment over the 1824 election, made it difficult for Adams to push his policies through Congress. Adams's presidency was also marked by his progressive stance on education and science. He championed the establishment of a national university and supported federal funding for scientific research. Though many of his initiatives were not realized during his presidency, they reflected his belief in the power of knowledge and innovation to advance society. In 1828, Adams was defeated in his bid for re-election by Andrew Jackson, whose populist appeal resonated with a growing number of voters. After leaving the presidency, Adams did not retire from public life. In 1830, he was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives, becoming the only former president to serve in Congress. It was in this role that Adams found a renewed sense of purpose. As a congressman, Adams became a leading voice against slavery, a cause that would define his later years. He consistently fought for the right to present anti-slavery petitions in Congress and opposed the gag rule, which sought to prevent the discussion of slavery in the House. His passionate speeches and unwavering commitment to human rights earned him the nickname Old Man Eloquent. Although slavery would not be abolished during his lifetime, Adams's advocacy laid the groundwork for the abolitionist movement. John Quincy Adams died on the 23rd of February, 1848 in Washington, D.C., after suffering a stroke while on the floor of the House of Representatives. He was 80 years old. His death marked the end of a remarkable life dedicated to public service and the pursuit of justice. Though his presidency was fraught with challenges, Adams' contributions to American diplomacy, his defense of individual rights, and his fight against slavery left a profound impact on the nation. His legacy as a statesman, intellectual, and advocate for liberty continues to be celebrated. I hope you enjoyed that special episode of 5-Minute Biographies. If you did, why not subscribe or leave a review wherever you get your podcasts? Also, why not check out our other 5-Minute podcasts at 5minuteproductions.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.